Hey guys, Bobos is here. Today we're playing San Andreas Multiplayer. Welcome to Los Santos. And sadly, today, because of an error I made when parking my vehicle, I lost my FT Washington. And this has inspired me to make part 2 of my vehicle series, which is all about saving vehicles. So anytime you buy a vehicle, whether that's through auction, from another player, or through the computer, you need to save that vehicle. If you don't save it, it's gone. So there's really two main ways to save vehicles, each with their own pros and cons, which we'll get into. So the first way to do it is at a house. Not all houses have a vehicle slot though, so you do need to check that out. You will see that on the auction. It's called a CS, will be as part of the property information. That stands for car slot. And whether a house has a garage or not doesn't actually play into whether or not it has a parking spot or a car slot. You just will see that when you purchase. So I'm just going to go up and I'm going to buy this property. And if I have a look once I get into a vehicle, this is one of mine. And if I drive up to my property, you will see in red, there's a little icon. I can park there. I can save my vehicle. Cool. And there it is, parked on the sidewalk. The other way to do this is by parking it at a garage, and we'll do that now. I'll just fast forward to the nearest garage. Cool. So just like a property, if we go up to the garage and we purchase it, you will see then another red mark and you can park your vehicle over there. I'm not going to do that because this motorbike's actually already parked at a property. So the real question is, what is the difference and why would I choose one over the other? So the very first difference is the price. So at the moment, there's a discount on garages, but they're actually quite cheap for the majority of the time, and they're owned for 30 days. Okay, so it's a really cheap way of owning a place to save a car, and there's loads of them around the map, and it's quite nice and effective. Okay, so last 30 days, it's really cool, it's really cheap. You can also renew it from the website, from Dynasty Real Estate. You can get that online. But the main drawback to parking at a garage is that if you want to phone your mechanic, you probably have the situation where you're trying to phone up and the mechanic can't deliver your vehicle right now. That issue is most common when you're parking at a garage. And the reason for that is because unlike when you park at a house, when you're parking at a garage, the vehicle doesn't actually spawn until you're nearby it, which means that if there's too many vehicles on the server, it can't spawn your car. Whereas if you own a house, every time you sign into the server, those vehicles get spawned outside your house. And that's also why when you're driving around neighborhoods, you'll see there's cars parked outside, because those are players that are actually online at the moment. Okay, so that's the main benefit over properties, is that it makes your mechanic way more reliable. Okay, but the problem with properties, and that's what I had today, which is why I lost my Washington, is that if you park your car at a garage and the garage expires, and this is the same for marinas and hangars, by the way, if your garage expires, you can always renew the garage. So your car will be gone, but when you renew the garage, your car will be back again. So you don't have to stress about it if your house or if a garage expires. If your house expires, your car's gone forever. It ain't ever coming back. So if you own a house, you need to be really, really on top of it, right? So you need to make sure that you're at your computer. You need to make sure that when you go to your purchase, on your renewals, you're renewing all your houses to make sure that they never ever expire. And you'll see that the more properties you own, the more expensive this becomes. So just bear that in mind. It can become quite an expensive exercise. You can also renew your garages online. That's fine too. And it's obviously a lot cheaper, but it's not such a big deal, right? So the way I tend to do this is the cars that I use very, very commonly, which is mainly my NRG, to be honest, I park outside a house because that makes it the easiest for it to be delivered to me. All of my other ones, my working cars, like my Broadway, my Washington, my security van, which I also lost because my house expired, those I will park at a garage, and I'll usually park it at a garage in the town that I tend to use them in. So if there's not too many people on the server, the mechanic can be quite reliable even for garages, so I wouldn't worry too much about it. But like my Broadway, I park in the middle of Las Venturas at the garage, and then I just use it for pimping in Las Venturas. So that's really the main takeaways. So just to summarize that very quickly, garages are cheaper and there's way less risk of it expiring, but it's less reliable for the mechanic. Houses are more expensive but way more reliable when it comes to the mechanic, but you do run the chance of losing that vehicle forever if it expires. One other thing that's good to know is that if you use the command saved vehicles, it will give you a list of all of your vehicles, where they're saved, and very importantly, how much time is left on it. So you really shouldn't actually have the issue that I've had where things are expiring. You should be keeping on top of things anyway, but just bear in mind, save vehicles show you exactly where it is. So if you want to do navigation to get to a certain garage or something like that, it's really quick and easy for you to do. So I hope that helped. The next video we'll do will be on modding cars to make them FT and how much that's going to cost, and we'll talk about flipping vehicles as part of that as well. Until next time, this is Bob Moses signing off for SAMP WTLS.